Welcome back, 5 Aces.
Battle control initialized.
Hey people, 5 Aces here. Behold, the second to last potato cast. So good news everybody, except it's actually good news. I managed to purchase my setup. It is being assembled right now as we're speaking. And it should be arriving within the span of 10 days. So 10 business days that is. So I'm expecting my new setup to arrive in probably around 2 weeks time, which is awesome. So thank you to everyone who contributed to making this setup work and just giving me some technical specifications. I went with some of the recommendations that were given to me courtesy of some tech-savvy people. Namely, I replaced, if you watched the original video, I managed to replace the original graphics card that I intended on purchasing with an NVIDIA, because people just said that they were superior to the other options. I think I managed to purchase the 12 gig one because the 16 gig was actually sold out. And I also set up my hard drives as a RAID array, so it's actually basically serving as a backup where it's data redundancy and you can't really lose your data as far as I understand it, which is a good thing because I've got plenty of important data on that. But with that out of the way, let's dive right into today's cast, and this is a special one because it is the overture to RAGL Season 13. It's not an actual match, but it is probably one of those, people are starting to grind the ladder. And those people have been going hard from what I've been seeing. Ooh, the medic won't be able to outheal this carnage. This is a complete massacre. Medic lives to tell the tale. Has to hightail it now. Buddy, just put away your band-aids. They ain't gonna stop bullet wounds. Alright, now that the bodies have dissipated, let's talk about the players first. In the bottom right, the man who has taken the engagement in Storm is Mr. DVoid, whom we know mostly from Shadow Paradise. But he has also been dabbling in other mods as well. And he's going up against Jinx, whom I've casted once or twice in tournaments as far as I'm aware. I don't think I've ever casted dedicated 1v1s, maybe one or two of his. But, across the span of 350 casts, that you're liable to miss one or two names here and there. Alright, both starting double ref. It is also a France versus Russia matchup. It's a very classic one, the Napoleon Wars and all that. It's kind of the revival. And we are going to be tackling this one while I'm gushing about my setup. No, it's just really awesome that I'm finally going to be able to... By the way, some people have talked about this being overkill. Yes, I'm aware. I thought it was abundantly clear, but apparently it was not. The fact that I told people over and over it is to run SP in 25 FPS, that was a little tongue-in-cheek. The actual reason is because I'm also planning on starting another side project as soon as I've got more time, which is not going to be anytime soon, but I want to also put up some non-OpenRA related content, not on this channel, but starting a secondary channel for that. The OpenRA channel is always going to remain here. Ooh, the Ranger is going to be very deadly here. And the non-OpenRA related content is going to be about, basically about video games that I love. It is a hobby of mine after all. Ranger taking a pummeling. Ooh, Engineer exfiltrating, but there's only rifles here. Oh my goodness, the APC. What a timing window. He has also singled out all of the... that was brilliantly played from DVoid. There were two rockets in the blob, and he managed to single them out. Ooh, nice stop hit and run from Jinx though. Manages to get the kill on the APC on the back end of this. Ranger light tank combo doesn't work so well with a note of an infantry backbone to work with. So definitely Jinx on the back foot. So, this is, by the way, not a 1v1, not in the slightest. This is actually... sorry. I was about to say, this is not actually a best of one. Not in the slightest. This is actually a best of 6. That's why I've been saying that these two have been grinding hard. Yeah, DVoid and Jinx starting to power lift here. Just in the mass building phase, and they both have flexed their OpenRA muscles. 6 games in a row, back to back. That's quite impressive. Ranger and light tank combo from Jinx is having a pretty good time pushing these folks back. They still have no more fire support left. because DVoid managed to go for a hard econ build after his first APC got deleted. He also has scouts everywhere. Just look at his map vision. That's actually really good. He manages to get an oil derrick off the back of this as well. That's basically for free. He's gonna be rushing out at MCV, but he is behind on the MCV timing regardless, and that is courtesy... Okay, nothing happening here. That is courtesy of him building an extra harvester. So Jinx is not in the best of economical spots. Jeez Louise, he's on 3 harvesters. Yeah, because I was thinking he had so many light vehicles. He actually managed to go Ranger, light tank, medium tank, 3 harvesters, and an MCV. That is a hard committing early game build. Okay, let's see if the light tank can make it work. He's starting to run over the army from DVoid. And with the line of sight advantage, he's also inching his way forward very meticulously, taking out all the rocket soldiers. That is brilliant. Jinx kind of making it work here. Despite his Ranger still being not patched up and not in the front lines, if he manages to delete this blob as well, he's gonna be in a great spot. He's already managed to kill a lot more assets than his opponent. Man, a 3 tank push already. I'm just so confused. He managed to dump a 3rd refiner and a 4th harvester here. Double Ranger. Wow. This is a special tactics build if I've ever seen one. So this Ranger is probably just going for backline caps. I kind of like that idea, kind of digging it. That is unconventional. Yeah. As you may have been noticing, this is probably not the top tier of RA. And that's not the micro, more so it is the macro and the game decisions, because that's not a standard meta build. You can see that their tank movements, for example, are really good. So it's not really a skill issue, it's more of an informed decision-making issue. Where, ooh, the infantry are crawling forward, losing a lot of units already. But the front lines of Jinx have crumbled, and DVoid stands victorious. Jinx has not yet taken back this oil derrick. The Ranger is just being parked here. You know, reverse parking is kind of a skill in and of itself. So fairly impressive there. Ranger needs to be pulled a little forward because right now he's being the army is being shot at from underneath the fog of war. Okay, he sees it now. Does he want to commit? This is what I'm talking about when I say that OpenRA engagements can be really tough to figure out, because you have such limited vision. Your line of sight is absolutely constricting your movement sometimes. That was still very good for Jinx. He manages to hold, he manages to push back all the tanks, and just like that, we are seeing yet another engagement win for Jinx, who is also kind of making the medics work for themselves. You know, they're essential workers after all. In these trying times, those essential frontline workers, and they are literally just that, frontline workers, have put in some overtime. Some hefty overtime at that. Heavy tank trying to frontline, trying to screen for the infantry, but gets taken out very, very rapidly. And just like that, it is DVoid being under pressure, Jinx knocking at the front doorsteps. There is going to be a flame tower popping up, so I doubt he wants to advance any further. Yep. Pulling the retreat button. You can see that these people are not throwing armies away willy-nilly. It's definitely been some good micro in there. Good unit preservation as well, good tank movements. It's more the macro decisions that are a little unconventional. Yak is out already, so tier 2 has been procured for the Soviet player. DVoid, I think I've only ever seen him play in this red color, unless it was an SP, in which case I've seen him... Ooh, there is tier 3! Just look at the destroy tab though, that's not looking too good. Jinx still on 2 harvesters and a derrick under, so that's kind of the saving grace for DVoid. He has... Jinx has more assets though, but not by a large margin. The tanks are trying to form a concave. Oh, down goes the Yak. Gets the hit on the power plant as well. That does so much damage, this costs you a lot of power. I think that is Jinx going to breach the base. What about the infantry? They could easily be pushing in now. Okay, he's pulling the goalies. There we go. Ranger, oh, nice unit preservation there. Ranger being sent back, medium tank being sent back. I mean, there is no sending back infantry, because that's just not how OpenRA rolls. But very well played. Meticulous engagement. Mammoth tank is out. Can the tech actually save DVoid from imminent destruction? I'm not so sure. Tank is trying to kite back, but the Mammoth ain't no more. Mammoth's just dying out here for a second time. Yeah, that's been tough times. Ooh, where's he going? Okay, he's firing on the service depot. Just can inflict some structural damage. Look at that unit preservation from Jinx. Sending back all his units, also sending the medics to patch up all the frontline infantry. This is just incredibly well played. Oh, DVoid has been going for a double war factory. Well, that ain't gonna be pumping out anything except APCs for the time being. Tech center also being taken under siege, and no Shakis have been built. Would actually have been a good choice. Against infantry, they're very reliable with their high range and their insta-kill zap. They've got a, in case you don't know, they've got a 1000% damage modifier against infantry. So if they touch anything with the zap tap, it is gonzo. As long as it's infantry, as long as it's breathing. Right, that's a lot of mediums, also some artillery support. Yep, the artillery is as per usual, just going to the front lines. Jinx now transitioning over to mechanics. I really like this idea, because really this army can be patched up on the front lines. If he keeps playing the engagements this well, he can actually keep the tanks and not send them to the service depot. Good lord, the unit preservation. Also, medium tank, light tank. I want to just highlight the longevity of this kind of type of thing. This is the most long-lived light tank. This is basically a dinosaur in light tank terms already. Oh, the artillery shells are going to be on a good path towards destroying the infantry corps in a matter of seconds. Ooh, they're trying to dive in, but there is no doubt. Ho 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 ho! Jeez Louise, those hits. Hitting hard and hitting home. Yep, that's probably gonna be one game for Mr. Jinx. DVoid is gonna have to work overtime to keep up with this. This has been insane. Man, I really gotta say his micro he's not been losing units for nothing. Always just sacrificing them. Let's go back to chess analogies. Sometimes you gotta sacrifice those pawns, right? Ooh, speaking of sacking a pawn, that is one hell of a dead pawn there. Alright, that's the first war factory down. Unit preservation for Jinx is still off the charts. All of his tanks have survived. He has managed to take down some of the service depots, some of the econ here as well. A little bit of a power snipe too. A little raid on the infantry, with the infantry onto the tank reinforcements. Brilliantly played. Still though, Jinx's econ. So his macro game has been slipping a little, but his micro has been really, really good. Just gotta point it out. With just the basic tanks, he has managed to make it work. MCV is probably not gonna get away with this, because there's just been insanely good tank movements from Jinx. Yeah, he's blocking him in, boxing him in. That is, in Warcraft 3 terms, that's a complete surround. That's one of the most fun mechanics, and one of the most annoying mechanics at the same time, if you've ever watched competitive. Also StarCraft 2. Warcraft 3 and StarCraft 2, they all have unit path blocking. And that can sometimes be so hard to play against. Those top tier players boxing in enemy units so they can't get away. Oh, Frontline War Factory gets sold off, that's fair enough. MCV gets salvaged, lives to tell the tale. This is just a little army, a speck of an army. Oh, I've heard a para drop. Whoa, what's up with those Blackhawks? They are on standby. Rar go the chain guns. In terms of so scared, to put so scared, to quote so scared there. Put quotation marks on Mr. So Scared, make his immortal words heard once again. Yeah, DVoid trying to mount the defense. I doubt it's gonna be enough. He has managed to dismantle all the econ. There is 2 harvesters here. 2 more here. Yeah, ain't looking too hot. The Blackhawk could have finished off the MCV, but DVoid still in a world of hurt. Some of the tanks now dying. being bled to mass infantry on the way out, but he manages to almost take out the ore refinery. Always pulling back, never overcommitting. The micro is insane from Jinx there. Alright, what's going on this side of the map? Just some refueling and rearming. Let's cut back to the artillery hits. Those have been stellar. All the arties down for now. Is that gonna spell a comeback victory? I'm doubtful, very doubtful. You can see that Jinx has hotkeyed all of his troops there. That's the hotkey control group for rocket soldiers, and the other one is infantry, is rifles, and the rifles have dwindled in numbers, but that's completely okay. Still hear some gunfire. Oh, yeah. That's just the mediums going to town on the war factory while the army was busy defending. Well played. One more volley. Okay. Decides to go for the APCs here. Probably not even worth it. Taking a civilian out on the way. Ooh, this tank gets disposed of. This one should die as well. But the rest live to tell the tale. Right, what does DVoid have left? Well, let's do some quick math. As the Germans would put it, eine Milchmädchenrechnung. Let's crunch the numbers. We are on 12k assets. Yeah, that ain't gonna bode well. Tanks are back, just trying to find some more things to dismantle. Artillery is firing from the nastiest position, like it's a really entrenched position. Really hard to get to. I love this. Alright, just taking the safety route, just systematically destroying him rather than pushing all in. And really there's no reason for going all in, but this is completely over. This is a foregone conclusion. Some more gunfire. Okay, artillery is repositioning right into the center mass. Yep, you ain't going nowhere. There is no trespassing signs put up here in the dirt. You ain't gonna get past this gorge. Whew, what a spicy game number one. We've got more, by the way. 5 more to be exact, so DVoid definitely has some time to recover from this. He's got a lonesome airfield, that's kind of hilarious. That somehow survived. Yeah, the Blackhawks just going on a little scouting run. Oh, that's so juicy. Doesn't even bother with the rifle infantry, it's just like, yeah, we've got this. He's looking hard for the last buildings. Has he not figured this out just yet? Ah, he's been seeing it now. Yep. Tanya's here. Oh, sniping the power. It's like kicking your opponent when he's already down and then kicking him in the bladder at that. It just hurts to watch. It's just massively painful. Here comes the all-in push. It's not all-in, it's just the all-out push. It's quite the opposite. All-out push, aggression onto the main base, and that's gonna seal the deal for game 1. Gives us some more... Yeah, well played, certainly. We know that there is 5 more Rees coming up. So that's a little spoiler. The power of hindsight. Yes, games are coming your way. One of them right now.
Battle control terminated. Battle control initialized.
Hey folks, welcome back. Did I just promise you 6 games? Well, let's make that 5. Let's chalk it up to inflation. So what happened? The game that I just casted for 5 minutes was basically being cast into the ether because it ended in a disconnect. I'm not going to include it despite it having a really interesting monologue that I'm going to repeat. And that was about the differences between StarCraft and StarCraft 2 and Command & Conquer. And someone has pointed this out in a subreddit that I frequent, that is the RTS subreddit. As you know, I'm a very avid lover of competitive RTS. StarCraft as well, even though the meta is very figured out. And I've always seen, and that's kind of the public discourse as well, in consensus, I've seen StarCraft 2 is the more complex game compared to Command & Conquer, but that's not necessarily true in all regards. It certainly is more intensive on the execution and micro side, but someone has pointed this out in a post in the subreddit recently, that the strategic part is actually where StarCraft 2 kind of falls flat, because you basically your economy, for example, you don't need to set that up. You don't need to babysit your harvesters. You just put X number of harvesting drones or whatever, or SCVs on a given patch, and that's kind of the extent to which the econ can be figured out. But at the same rate, the micro is incredible, and the builds are very set, so it is also figured out in a way just like chess, because there is so much money at stake, and as a result, it is also very figured out. People have used advanced mathematics to figure out the best builds. At the same rate, though, it kind of, for example, the base building itself is not that important except for walling off against your opponent. It's just wherever you just pop down your production facilities wherever, unless you want to go for a proxy. So that is all kind of the strategic layer is more complex in Command & Conquer, and that is something I'd never considered. So both are just different sides of the same coin, with StarCraft obviously being a very incredible execution heavy game with incredible APM requirements, because it's very, very skill based. Too skill based for the casual player base, I'd wager, whereas Command & Conquer can be a bit more chill in that regard. Yeah, just something interesting I'd like to highlight. But yeah, StarCraft 2 is also a really good game. Just one that tends to be not as exciting because the meta is very figured out. That's why I love Warcraft 3, because they can get away with the most random shit sometimes. Just rush a Broodlord, get him to level 6, and do very wild things to your opponent's base, with level 3 beetles swarming them. Alright, triple refinery for Jinx this time around, so what's the vector, Victor? That is a very interesting build. DVoid yet again going for, just standard double refinery into War Factory, into one APC, into Econ. And then after that, it's probably just going to be mass harvesters. Jinx, maybe he felt the need to catch up. He needed to build another engineer. He needed to just go for mass Econ. But I really am not a big fan of the triple. Ooh, there is the APC going wild, going to town here, and surviving! Oh my lord, what a dire start for Jinx this time around. Yikes. Did he also... Oh my lord, he just cancelled the engineer capture. It was 99% complete, and I'm pretty sure he just used the select all units key to reset. Oh, that is unfortunate. Disproportionately unfortunate. Maybe he can get a snipe on the engineer, that would be something. But the triple refinery build just holds you up so much. It delays your MCV by at least... Oh, he's not even building anything. Jinx, my friend, you need to build something from your MCV. He must be floating like crazy. Not that much. It's behind by 5k. Okay, Jinx definitely strikes me as a micro player, but his macro, it's been slipping. It's been slipping real hard sometimes. He can maybe dive for the engineer if he skirts around the northern edge of town. Ooh, he's got line of sight here. That's pretty good. Allows him to advance into this position. There is no recourse against the APC though. Kind of lucky that DVoid didn't pull the trigger. Could have ended in a disaster also. This is just a trail of doom. That's like a red carpet for the MCV, inviting some crushes. Light tank not connecting, a bit unfortunate here. Didn't get a crush. The engineer is in very lost here, in dire straits. Man, the ranger though from the backlines providing all the line sights he needs, and he retains all of his rocket soldiers. That was insane from Jinx. Pulling back all the rockets saved him 2k. That's an MCV's worth of assets being preserved. Man, and DVoid is bleeding infantry. So he has kind of made up for it by basically just winning out in the combat tab. Pulling it back somehow. Well played. Ooh. Ranger is playing a dangerous game. I think he has shaved off enough infantry to the point where he can win the engagement. Oh, not with line of sight disadvantage though. And kill on the Ranger. No, this is gonna spell the retreat. That was a nice little backstab with this rifle. It's the little things sometimes in OpenRA. Yeah, that's Jinx already floating. He's got his MCV out. I feel like he's playing this like old school TD, where you basically build your MCV at like minute 10. I mean, it's 6 minutes deep. It's not that far into the game just yet. But he's floating 7k. My friend, I advise you to spend it. He's also 7k trailing in assets. That ain't gonna bode well. Nice. The light tank somehow has survived for a long time. Gets taken out now, and the capture is coming in as well. Trying to push his way in is the medium tank. There is currently no front lines established. Okay. Decent-ish, but it's now the front lines of Jinx that have fallen. And there is 2 more heavies coming his way. So it definitely the army has gone for a little weight loss program, has shed some excess weight in the form of lots of rifles and bazookas. Yeah, that's gonna be a tough order to hold. Jinx definitely on the back foot, and he's bleeding tanks as well. That ain't gonna bode well. There is a lot of red here. DVoid has claimed his half of the map, and Jinx hasn't done so. He hasn't kept up with the macro department. Yeah, definitely. Maybe he's a StarCraft player, you know? 3 Derricks for Jinx, for DVoid as well. Jinx needs a little miracle here. Well, that ain't gonna be the Christmas miracle he's been hoping for. Getting gifted a dead harvester. On the 3rd day of Christmas, Santa gave to me a burning husk in front of the tree. Oh, nasty. Manages to hold off, but at what cost? There is just so much more from DVoid coming his way that I really feel like if he doesn't find some backstab eco snipes, he's gonna be dead in the water. Let's check the econ. 1, 2, 7. Ooh, some really good econ on the 8th refinery is coming up in a couple moments. Yep, here it is. No, there is no chance that it's gonna recover from this. We've seen wilder games in the lower skill brackets, but I doubt that DVoid will not have the killer instinct to finish this game. Because right now it is looking increasingly over. Yeah, the windows are closing for Jinx. Windows closing for him to achieve a comeback. DVoid has a very juicy bank. His assets are also 9k ahead. You do the math. With 5 under 8 harvesters, 0 under 3 oil derricks. That's a nil for 3. Here comes the double prong. Not really a double prong. That's just some random infantry being forgotten about. They have just decided to park themselves here and out of harm's way. He can't push in just yet. Okay, Jinx has at least established 1 expansion. He has no infantry whatsoever. Let's check the standing army. Not the biggest of differences just yet. But time will tell. Time will tell a different story. In terms of production, Jinx is still not going for any base whatsoever. Is he that broke? He isn't. He's floating 4k, so he should be okay in the economics department. Having a war factory and an entire army, main army parked in your secondary expansion, that usually isn't a good sign of things to come. Mechanics are doing their best, stemming the tide, patching up some mediums. He's invested a lot into mechanics, by the way. That's at least 2k that I can see, yeah. 4 mechanics. For this amount of tanks, with this low an infantry count, it really isn't worth it. Maybe 1 or 2 being added is a good call. Also, you can reclaim husks in a pinch if you need that. Oh man. The oil derricks are all still alive. And by the way, they're providing vision, so this tank flank has been scouted immediately. Engineer at least going on a little hunt. Going on a behind enemy lines mission, because the entire map is enemy lines at that point. Oh, what a concave. What a great concave. The trap has been sprung and DVoid is going in hard. Does Jinx have enough to kind of win this engagement? No, he does not. No, too much damage has been soaked up and there is a lot of mechanics just uselessly firing away from their hips with their wrenches and their nail guns. I wish they would have nail guns. That would be hilarious. Just like what the pop gun like this that technicians have them. Oh, DVoid is smelling blood in the water. Like a shark. He is sharking his way into the base of Jinx. He's gonna be overrunning him in a hot minute. Also brought the MCV for the final push. So I think that is gonna be the 1-1. There is a little counter aggression, but that's gonna be dealt with. Just cost him 2 harvesters. Ah, 3 actually. It's not that bad. There was a nice attempt at some counter aggression from Jinx, but ultimately he's just gonna get overwhelmed. I can't see him stopping this army anymore. Yeah. Yep. That is him selling out. Jinx has no more recourse. That is gonna be some bitter recompense in terms of... Yeah. Ooh, thieves are coming in as well. That was $971 stolen. Not the best thief just yet, but a pretty top tier. Still just barely manages to go ×2 in terms of value. But it's actually ×4 because you also have to subtract the same value from your opponent. It's a double whammy. So, manages to almost go ×4. That is solid. Haha, another thief coming in. You can park them in front of the war factory now that they're hijackers. They can become invisible after a couple seconds. I think 4 seconds is the timer. And then it's just hilarious. You can put them on... I think you can put them on guard mode, right? Right next to the war factory. And as soon as the vehicle exits... Yeah, you've got yourself a new drive. A new little ride here. Jinx in his death throes in game number 3 or not 3. Actually number 2. Oh, there's the thieves. Here they come, the Caped Crusaders. 500. And 500 is the bare minimum. GG, that is the 1-1. Oh, no auto-scrolling. Hey, that's pretty good. Alright, that's it for this week's cast. We've got one more cast coming up, which I'm probably going to do back-to-back now. And after that, I'm sure it'll be time to reveal my new setup. And yeah, it's going to be a pretty good one without spoiling anything. I mostly kept to what I had planned on ordering. But yeah, as I said, the graphics card is now an NVIDIA. And I managed to cobble together a RAID setup for my hard drives. As well as a pretty... I think I didn't go up for the highest tier processor, but the second highest tier. Because that one, I was told, was just as capable. And the motherboard is not like... doesn't make or break a gaming PC. If you go for this high end of a PC anyway. But yeah, thank you to everyone for watching, and thank you to everyone who has helped me recommend parts for the for my PC. I'll see you next time. Hopefully, that's gonna be the last cast with the old setup, and after that, it's gonna be lightning fast processing and Shadow Paradise in 17 FPS. Stay tuned. Thank you for watching. 5 Aces out. As DVoid says it, soon.
Battle control terminated.